your max buy. So for example, I guess we could probably plug one in here. Let's take Truman's deal of 250,000. I'm not going to put these all in here, but let's just say that they averaged 250. Let's make all three of these 250. And then let's see here. And then we want to exit this for a lot lower. So let's put this exit. Let's see here. This has it at a 70 exit, which would be a 175 buy. Yeah, so this they probably want to exit it a lot lower. No. I was right where I was at. Yeah, so we're actually a little higher than that. Or no, we're not going to get it for. Wait a minute. Let me think here what we're doing here. Oh no, I'm sorry. This is the as is value. That's why. So our as is value is not 250. That's why I'm shifting my brain here from ARV. So we're not doing ARV. We're doing as is. So these wouldn't be 250. These would be, more like probably 150 probably. Let me just make this up right now so you can just kind of see the logic behind this. Yeah, that's a little bit more where we're at right now. So assuming right now that the as is value of that property, Truman's deal, is 150,000, not ARV, the current condition of that property, then an investor would want to be all in at 70% of that value. So that's 105. And then if we wanted to make a 25K wholesale, we would need to buy it at 80. So we're kind of around those numbers. We're at 75. And Brian said that, Brian said that, 100 to 115 is what he was kind of thinking we could get on that. So anyway, this is just like a spit out an offer number.
Jared, I also had one question.
Yeah.
I had one question about the deal that you're working. You were saying that you could double close that one since it's an REO. Isn't that subject to the REO? Because we worked one where you couldn't resell the home up until it had to be 90 days after you close. What
you're talking about there is an FHA buyer.
Okay.
So FHA has an anti-flipping rule where if you buy a property and then you resell it to an FHA buyer, there's a 90-day seasoning period that you have to follow before you can do that with an FHA buyer. Okay. So let's say we take Truman's deal. Let's say that I bought that. Let's say I bought it, mm-hmm. and then we put the rehab in, and let's say we knocked out the rehab in like a month, and I'm up for sale. Right now I'm up for sale, and an FHA buyer wants it for $250. Well, I've only owned the property 30 days. I got to wait another 60 days before I can even contract with the FHA buyer and then close another 45 days after that.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, maybe it was just FHA, but I knew the 90 was there.
Yeah.
But is selling the LLC a way around the FHA, or would that still be true? Or
no, because the FHA buyer can't buy the LLC. They have to buy in their personal name. Yeah, because the loan's in their name, not an LLC. So the LLC trick only works with cash buyers.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
But it's a cool trick. In fact, Tyler, put up their LLC flipper kit. Guys, I've got all the paperwork for doing that LLC hack strategy. I'll give it to you for free. And I've got some YouTube videos on it as well. But if you go to, I think it's llcflipperkit.com, you can get the whole packet of how to do that strategy for free. So I paid an attorney, umpteen thousands of dollars to create all the documents for it and give it to you guys for free. So definitely do that. Where this comes in helpful is if the main reason is if there's a no assignment clause. So that would be an REO, a short sale, auction properties, what else? Some probates. Usually if attorneys are involved, then they like to put no assignment clauses in contracts. Some states, Brian, you and I talked about this, I think. Some states have where in the agent state approved contract, there's a clause where the seller has to agree to an assignment.
Yeah, that is true. Our title company has that for all of them. So the one that we use because my cash buyer uses there. But so what we word around that is when we say we need them to sign off, we can assign it. We usually say for tax purposes, we have multiple LLCs. We're nothing's changing. We're just moving it around within our own business. They say, okay, you're set there.
Yeah,
But yeah, it depends on
but they could choose not to agree.
Yes, and the one that you actually double closed for us, it was ironic because we actually couldn't even assign it because that agent, they were in the process of, I think they were traveling, they had a funeral to go to, and they just switched brokerages. They had a lot of stuff. They said, you know what, everything's too confusing. Do you mind if we just don't sign off on that for this one? And I was like, sure. So either way, we had to double close, like even if we didn't want to disclose our fees. So yeah, they can say no, and you might be forced to double close. But yeah,
So I thought you guys did that one to not disclose your big wholesale fee.
we did it for both reasons. That was our first reason, and then after we like figured out that we're gonna double close, we were then like once we were in the midst of planning, he actually said like no. So we're like, okay, like now we
Okay.
have no option. So it was two reasons there, but it was mainly because of the wholesale.
Yeah, guys, I did a video and broke down that deal. It came out, I think, yesterday. It's about how to double close with 100% funding. I actually funded it in the video. I talk about Jared Hetler's deal, but it was Jared and Brian. They JV'd on that deal,
Yep.
And so I stepped in, funded the deal for them on the double close. It was really cool. It went like clockwork, Brian. I mean, we wired the money in for closing one for 140,000. Wired the money in.
Yep.
And then your closing two was like right after for 175. Cash buyer comes in with 175, and then title wired me back the original, my original. So my money was a wire in, a wire out that day on that deal.
It was really fast. They're great. I love using them. So is the video up on YouTube yet?
Yeah, yesterday.
Oh, sweet. Love it.
Yeah, watch it. You'll like it.
Cool.
So they netted. You guys paid about $2,500 right around there in closing fees on combined, because you paid some fees when you bought it and you paid some fees when you sold it.
Yep.
But so your 35,000 gross wholesale ended up being like 32.5 or something like that. But still, like,
good one.
Yeah. Yeah. So guys, if you want to use my funding on if you do double closings, I'll do the first one for free. But to learn more about that program, you can go to usejerryscash.com. Maybe Tyler, you could put that in the thing, usejerryscash.com. You can register for training and learn all about like how that program works. But I created that program because I think, I said this in the video, I think assignments are going to start to get more and more difficult, and double closings are going to be more and more common in wholesale. So you want to be ready. You want to be ready for it. Okay.
Jerry.
Yeah.
I just want to tell you this. Okay, so Brian got back to me and said his numbers were off. But I'm confident I could find a buyer for 130 to 150.
What?
That's
off. Wait a minute. He's off the other way.
I know. That's what I'm saying.
Come on. What?
So you guys can get this one.
What are you talking about?
I don't understand.
Maybe he knows some contractors who might want to live in there after. That's always some case of people.
We'll see.
But you never know.
Tell him go for it.
Okay, yeah.
Tell him go for it. We're all in. Let's do it. Okay, so Tyler, before we jump into something new, anything else? Guys, leave a comment if you've got something about what we've done so far, a question about anything. We're jumping around into a lot of different things, all wholesale, but let us know. When a real estate agent is writing up your contract and you request for them to add and or assigns, what's your go-to response to diffuse their concerns? Great question. Brian, how would you answer that?
So if a real estate agent is writing up the contract and they say add and or assigns, so it's usually what we say. So we do it with the case that we can't and or assign. And then if we decide that we want to, we write up an addendum. It's always, we say an addendum saying, hey, after we've ratified with our contract, by the way, that way they know we're legit, because you don't want to come up and say we're assigning it before everything's set. We add say, hey, can you write up an addendum just approved by the seller? We're moving it around within our own business. We're just going to bring it to another one of our LLCs. I don't say the word assign either way. So it's usually an addendum. And in that case that me and Jerry were talking about, where the seller can say no.